Quantum jumping helped you to walk again.
Absolutely. I was paralyzed from the waist down, and I had to learn to walk again.
I got to know Burt Goldman when he was in his 80s, and this man just absolutely blew me away. Burt was able to achieve extraordinary feats using quantum jumping and was able to pick up new skills seemingly like magic well into his 80s. Every time I'd see him, he would pick up something new. So most people in their 80s are in retirement mode. Not Burt. He became a photographer with exhibited works. He started painting and produced a huge amount of art. He even taught himself to play the piano. And he didn't stop there. He created huge amounts of books, fiction and non-fiction. He, in his 80s, taught himself to build a website and became a digital entrepreneur. Some of his top websites were doing millions a year, selling his philosophies and meditations. And he claimed he was able to do all of this, succeeding as an online entrepreneur, a photographer, an artist, a musician, all by being able to tap into alternate versions of himself and download the skills from the multiverse. So if this sounds crazy, stay tuned. My name is Vishen Lakhiani and I run Mind Valley, which is the world's biggest platform for human transformation. Over 20 million people follow Mind Valley, and quantum jumping is one of the most popular protocols that we teach. When I first heard about the remarkable achievements Burt was having with quantum jumping in his 80s, I knew that this was one of the Rolls Royces of personal development. So how did Burt get there? Well, he told me this. He said, Vishen, I simply go into an altered state of mind. I tap into the multiverse. I imagine myself projecting into any type of universe I want. There's a universe where I'm a billionaire. There's a universe where I'm a musician. There's a universe where I'm an artist. There's a universe where I'm an actor. I project into these universes, observe these alternate versions of myself, and then absorb their skills, beliefs, and insights. And that, he said, was his secret. I asked Burt if he could teach the technique. He said yes. I was his very first student, and he asked me to help him come up with a name for the technique. Back then, I was really into the TV show Quantum Leap, so I came up with the name Quantum Jumping. I didn't realize how big quantum jumping would go. And today, if you open up TikTok or even Reddit, people are talking about quantum jumping decades later. But what many people miss is that it was this man who developed the technique and popularized it. Burt and I launched the first quantum jumping website in 2008, and we recorded this animated video that explains how quantum jumping works. Listen to it because it's so important to me that you hear Burt's voice. This gentle man had this beautiful voice that could put you in the most relaxed state of mind. Watch.
Hi, my name is Burt Goldman, and let me ask you something. When you were a child, what sort of fantastic dreams did you have? Did you want to be a planet-hopping astronaut? A brilliant scientist who discovers a cure for cancer? Maybe a record-breaking athlete with a cabinet of Olympic medals? A billionaire entrepreneur with a mansion on every continent? Well, what happened to those dreams? I'll tell you what happened. You grew up, and you started living in the real world. Your teachers told you to stop daydreaming. Your parents told you to be realistic, get a steady job and a mortgage. And before you knew it, your childhood dreams had vanished into thin air. But what if somewhere out there, in an alternate universe, there's a you who turned all those dreams into reality? Scientists like Stephen Hawking and Albert Einstein have long speculated on the existence of alternate universes. So imagine that somewhere out there, in these alternate universes, there's a version of you for everything you've ever wished you could be. A version of you as a billionaire. A version perhaps as a celebrity, a philanthropist, an inventor you. Now imagine there was a way you could tap into these alternate universes and connect with alternate versions of yourself. What if you could meet the successful you and learn from that success how to boost your wealth and career, even if you've been stuck in a rut for years? What if you could talk to the athletic you and find out how to get that fit, sexy body you've always wanted, even if you've never been able to shake off those extra pounds? Or what if you could meet the Casanova you and figure out how to attract your dream partner, even though you've never had much luck in love. So, welcome to the world of quantum jumping.
Let me show you some wild evidence. In 2010, I decided to rent a car and drive for 2.5 hours from San Diego out into the deserts to visit Burt Goldman. When I came to Burt's home and I stepped into his house, the first thing that blew me away was his photography. These pictures are gorgeous. They almost have a 3D look. And then he showed me his paintings. I love his paintings. Many of these art pieces today are being sold for $10,000 to $20,000 or more. In fact, many collectors who own his art at this point refuse to sell it because they know how valuable his art is going to be. But Burt didn't stop there. Check out his musical ability.
You know something? I don't really know how to play the piano. But then again, when you've heard me play, you say, well, he must know something. You know, I really don't. I know about the keys. So I don't read music. I don't know one chord. I don't usually play too many black keys. I don't know what they do. I can learn, I know, but I don't want to because I wanted to prove that you can go to your doppelganger, your twin self, and be successful. And I bring back the rhythm of a pianist.
And what's crazy is that when I visited him, he had only started playing the piano 4 months before. He told me he quantum jumped into a reality where he was this incredible musician and he learned how to play the piano and it became so easy for him. Burt was like this absolutely loving uncle to me. I learned so much from him. I was so touched that when I visited him that day, he gave me one of his most beautiful mosaic photography pieces that hangs today in the beautiful Mind Valley office. I learned so much from him, and I'm so grateful that we shared these beautiful moments together. Now, if Burt could do all of these amazing things in his 80s, what does that mean for you? Stick around till the end because I'm going to share with you everything you need to know to have your first quantum jump. But first, let me tell you about the man who developed this methodology because his story is equally fascinating. Burt developed this fascination for the human mind because of a mysterious incident that happened towards the end of World War II. So Burt was a sergeant in the US Army, and in 1945, with the defeat of Japan, American soldiers were stationed in Korea just south of the 38th parallel. Now, Burt was a really loving, friendly person. A sergeant in the army, he would roam the countryside of Korea and meet local Koreans and get to know them. And he made friends with a guy called Kim. One day, while roaming the countryside with Kim, Burt developed this aching migraine. And Kim said, wait, I know a man who can help you. So Kim takes Burt home and puts Burt in a room and has Burt wait there. And this strange-looking man comes in. This man starts doing mysterious things with his hands, playing with energy. And Burt's migraine completely disappears. So Burt turns to Kim and goes, who the heck was that? And Kim says, well, that is a mudang. A mudang is a Korean shaman. And what he was doing was manipulating chi and using energy to transform Burt's reality. This was Burt's first introduction to metaphysics. So when Burt left Korea and went back to the United States, his mind was filled with questions. He wanted to understand this unseen world, and he went deep to learn from the greatest teachers of his time. One of those teachers was the late, great Paramahansa Yogananda, famous for his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And it was revealed recently that this book was Steve Jobs' favorite book. It was the only book he had in his iPad. And at his funeral, he gave this book to everyone. Autobiography of a Yogi is a remarkable book. And Yogananda was one of Burt Goldman's first teachers. Burt became a disciple of Yogananda, but he didn't stop there. He went on to study Ericksonian hypnosis, eye movement therapy, EFT, EMDR, NLP, Feng Shui, Qigong, tapping, the 7 principles of Hermes, yoga, meditation, labyrinth octave programming, and one of the protocols that most changed his life, the Silva Mind Control Method with Jose Silva. Burt Goldman became a master of the Silva Mind Control Method. He became Jose Silva's #1 instructor. And that was how him and I got connected. Now, to understand quantum jumping, I want you to remember this abbreviation, AIR. AIR. A stands for altered states. You need to go into an altered state of mind. Most of us are functioning at the beta or waking frequency in terms of brain frequency. To get into an altered state, you got to lower your brain frequency to the alpha level or the theta level. Alpha is for healing, theta is for intuition. Burt teaches a technique in quantum jumping to lower your brain frequently consciously, so at will, through a tongue movement, you can place yourself into an altered state. That's coming up soon. Now, the I stands for intuition. Let me explain this concept. One of the greatest lessons that Burt told me he learned from Jose Silva is this, the idea of the compass and the rocket. You see, most people, especially in popular American personal growth, people are trained that they should be rocketing towards their goals. But the problem is, very often, what we think is our goal is not actually what our soul is here to experience. You could be rocketing towards disaster. For example, you may think you want a particular person, but after getting to a relationship with this person, you realize, whoa, this was the wrong person for you. You may think you want that dream job, but after getting that job, you lose motivation. This is because of people focusing on the rocket, but not the compass. The compass is the I in air. It is intuition. You have to be able to tap into your intuition to know if you're actually moving in the right direction, if the goal or the person or the job is actually the right one for you, because they may be a different compass direction that you should be aiming for. Then we come to the R, and R is resonance. Resonance is the most important thing. You see, everything is vibration. Nikola Tesla famously said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Because what many people don't understand is that the law of attraction doesn't work because you want something. It works based on the vibrations you're putting out. I'm friends with many of the greatest teachers in the movie The Secret, the movie that popularized the law of attraction. And I remember sitting down with Reverend Michael Beckwith, one of the men featured in that movie. And I asked him, in 2018, what would you change about teaching the law of attraction, given everything you know in the 15 years since that movie came out? And Beckwith said this, listen carefully. He said the law of attraction is bunk. Rather, what we should be paying attention to is the law of resonance. What is the law of resonance? Here's me explaining it on the popular Jay Shetty podcast.
Right, like the difference between manifesting effectively and then wishing is so great. Tell us about the way you see them as different.
So one of my teachers is the Reverend Michael Beckwith, who lives here in LA, and he explained a concept to me once. We were having breakfast in Portugal at A-Fest, and he said, the universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. People misunderstand that. They think the law of attraction is being obsessed with what you want. But no, if you want something, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. The universe will reflect to you what you are. And Beckwith calls this the law of resonance. Resonance. So you got to become that which you seek to be. The law of resonance means this. The universe doesn't give you what you want. Rather, the universe will reflect back to you who you are. And I'm saying that again because it's so important. The universe will not give you what you want. Rather, it reflects back to you what you already are. And I know the question in your head, you're thinking, well, I'm freaking broke. So how do I develop business ideas and start making money? I'm lonely, so how do I meet the right person? Well, there are ways around it. Some people say fake it till you make it, which is fine, but you risk falling into the trap of imposter syndrome, and ultimately you can't kid yourself and you can't kid the universe. You might try therapy, counseling, you might make small incremental changes. The truth is, all of these take a fairly long time, can be expensive, can cost tens of thousands of dollars, but will not really work for you if you aren't making those switches in what you believe about yourself. It's kind of like cable TV. When you're stuck in your own vibration, it's like you can't shift the channel. It's like someone has stolen the remote, and no matter what you do, you always experience the same show. With quantum jumping, not only do you take back the remote, but you can watch just about anything you can imagine. You can instantly flip between channels and have brand new experiences that simply weren't available to you before. And this is how Burt explains it. Quantum jumping operates on the principle of the multiverse. If you've watched movies in the last 20 years, I'm sure you're familiar with that term. From the Marvel Cinematic Universe, movies like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, to movies like Sliding Doors, to Best Picture winner, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Hollywood and modern pop culture is obsessed with the multiverse. The idea of the multiverse basically proposes that there are infinite universes where every single possibility that could exist does exist. And this isn't purely science fiction. Many of the world's leading scientists postulate that this could be true. Michio Kaku, the great physicist, said, I believe we exist in a multiverse of universes. So how do you quantum jump? Well, the first thing you've got to understand is this. This is an advanced exercise that happens in an altered state of mind. Is your consciousness actually traveling across multiple dimensions? We don't know. Will you jump into a world where you've got hot dogs for fingers like Michelle Yeoh and Everything Everywhere All at Once? Probably not. But you can enter an altered state of mind that allows you to transcend the current vibration trap that's keeping you stuck in any given area of life and bring back that frequency that's going to shift your perception of reality and reflect back to you that which you seek. All you have to do is learn to talk to your doppelgangers. So what is a doppelganger? Well, a doppelganger is a German word meaning double walker. Basically, your twin self. Burt calls it your exact duplicate in one of the infinite number of universes that you actually exist in. But your doppelganger has a different upbringing, different programming, a self who made different choices in life. In one of these universes, you could be royalty. In another universe, you could be homeless. In another universe, you could be successful or poor, plain or handsome, ugly or beautiful, a musician or a business person, a soldier, an actor, an athlete, whatever. And you can, in theory, tap into the unique rhythm of any one of these alternate versions of you and bring back their vibrational frequency, meaning their beliefs, their ideas about themselves, their ideas about life. And you do this through quantum jumping. If you imagine a doorway to an infinite field of possibilities, a portal to the multiverse, focus on the doppelganger who has what you need. And then, in an altered state of mind while in deep meditation, you observe them. You connect with them. You notice how they feel, how they hold themselves, how they speak, how they think, how they dress. In advanced techniques, you can even ask them questions and intuitively listen for insight. You can tap into their emotional state and bring those emotions back with you. You can tap into their sense of possibility, their ideas of just what is possible in their world, and wake up from your meditative state with a new sense of possibility for yourself. And you can ask them for advice, and it is freaking bizarre. But the advice actually comes to you sometimes at the same time. While you're in that meditative state, very frequently, I want to just reach for a notebook and start writing things down. But I can't because I don't want to break this deep state of mind. In short, this technique is eerie as heck. So, if you're broke, you want to be wealthy, you quantum jump into a version of the multiverse where you have made a ton of money. You observe yourself in that version of the multiverse. You resonate with that self. You tap into the energy patterns of that self. And when you come out of this meditation, you will feel a little bit different. You will maybe feel more confident of your business abilities. You will maybe feel a little bit luckier. You will feel that money's coming towards you. And the more you do that, the more those feelings become part of you. And many people report that they then start seeing real changes in their physical reality.
Of all of the seminars we've done, we felt that hands down by far this has been the best that we've attended.
Burt Goldman is a wonderful teacher.
Meeting him in person has just blown my mind.
It was a unique experience in quantum jumping.
I felt like there was a definite shift.
My life is already changed just from yesterday until this morning.
This is actually a breakthrough for me.
Amazing as far as bringing clarity.
I came here to see Burt, and Burt was just awesome.
So how does it work? Well, this is what I believe. People are starting to talk about the idea that our brain is not just processing information like a computer. Our brain is in fact a receiver. Our brain is able to pick up information from outside the brain. This is frequently called intuition, insight, channeling, psychic ability. There are many names for it. But it's not just insights. You feel different. You actually start to believe that this is possible. You start to expect good things to happen. And this change seems to activate what Beckwith calls the law of resonance, that the universe doesn't give you what you want, but it reflects back to you what you are. And the more you do it, the faster and faster these realities come. And eventually, you become the person in your quantum jump. Now, you have a portal to your destiny because you're not playing by the rules of limited physical reality. You're playing by the rules of the quantum field. So, let's go back to the formula, air. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the A, altered states. When you do quantum jumping, the first prerequisite is this: you must master how to get your brain into these altered states of mind. So many people try to quantum jump just at the waking frequency. This is wrong, and it's not effective at all. And if you've tried to do this at the waking frequency, you typically don't see results. This is what you gotta know. Our brains operate at different frequencies. And again, this field is complex, but I'm gonna make it as simple as possible. Our brains operate at different frequencies. If you connect yourself to an electroencephalograph, you'll see that when you're awake, you're operating at the beta frequency. Your brain is actually beating at a particular frequency of 14 to 21 cycles per second. Now, when people are meditating, their brain waves actually slow down to what is called the alpha frequency. Alpha is 7 to 14 cycles per second. The alpha frequency, when neuroscientists study it, seems to be associated with deep relaxation, with healing, with insights, with creativity. But you can go deeper.